What is good, human beings? Appreciate you for clicking on this video today and taking interest in my tattoos and the meanings behind them. If you are new here or have not subscribed to me yet, I would greatly encourage y'all to do that right now, because I don't know if you've noticed, this channel is only getting better and better, and we're trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of this year, so I would greatly appreciate that. So anyways, I'm shooting this video in this abandoned building that I've noticed on many of my commutes to work. So I just set up the camera in one of these empty rooms, and I'm here shooting a video in an abandoned building, semi-abandoned building, because I kept on hearing noises. I swear people still are living here, but yeah, that's besides the point. So I've always wanted tattoos, and every time I've imagined myself as an old man, I'm just covered in tattoos, and oddly enough, I'm sometimes rocking a Fu Manchu. So yeah, like I'm 70 years old, hunched back, white hair, Fu Manchu, body covered in tattoos, and a bunch of stories to tell to like my grandchildren and whatnot. So when I moved to South Korea, which is like the land of some of the greatest like tattoo artists out there, I got 5 tattoos in a matter of like weeks, maybe like 2 months. So for my first tattoo, I wanted to test the waters. Didn't want to get anything too crazy. I got some simple text that I'm very fond of: Seoul Roman numeral 3. These letters and numbers are supposed to represent our planetary address. Now, bear with me. When you zoom out, look at this Earth, this space rock that we call home, and you look at it from a galactic point of view, there's no Atlantic and Fifth or Wallaby Way, 221B Baker Street, or whatever street you were raised on. There's none of that. It's just this blue dot floating in space. And in fact, it's the 3rd most significant dot, or at least to us, from the sun, which gives us life. So yeah, when I came up with this little code, this address that I call our planetary address, it's supposed to represent Sol 3rd, which Sol is the Latin word for sun, and 3rd is, well, we're the 3rd planet from the sun. But yeah, it just meant that we're all one and the same, Earthlings. And it definitely inspired my little intro and the way that I greet y'all,
What's good, human beings?
What's good, human beings?
What's good, human beings?
What's good, human beings? What's good, human beings? Just to, remind y'all, and I have this tattoo to remind me that, we all out here, struggling, living, we're all trying out here. But yeah, so I originally wanted this tattoo actually on my foot, but I learned that the bottom of your feet and the palms of your hands shed skin quite frequently, so the ink there will fade fast. So with my tattoo artist, professional opinion, he advised that I put it like slightly above my ankle, and I agreed to it, and I really liked the way it turned out and the location of it. So yeah, that was my first tattoo, and I'm really happy with it. I gotta say, within the first like 10 seconds of it, realizing how little it hurt, I thought to myself, I was like, oh shit, I'm definitely getting more. Because I've always heard like horror stories, not horror stories, but just people warning you that like, oh yeah, tattoos hurt, like it's needles stabbing you thousands and thousands of times. I'm like, damn, you're right. But nah, feeling the needles like firsthand, like it's really not that bad, and especially in this location. And immediately after this tattoo, to balance it out, in the same location, I got soy milk tatted on my left ankle, the back of my left ankle. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, why the hell would anyone get the word soy milk tatted on their body? But little do you know, this tattoo actually probably defines me the most out of all the tattoos that I have so far, and I will gladly explain to you guys the meaning behind this tattoo. Soy milk in its present form is simply a healthy alternative and arguably tastier option compared to the more traditional cow titty milk. But with this future knowledge that I'm about to share with y'all, that soon is going to become past knowledge that only you, the viewer, will be privy to, and be able to see my tattoo through my eyes, is that I see it as a state of mind. When you take this harmless, unsuspecting word and you translate it into Korean, my mother language, it's pronounced "do-you." And when you take that Korean word and you Romanize it back into English, it spells out "do you." Cute, right? It's cute. As ridiculous as it is a simple phrase that I live by. Speaking of phrases that I live by, I got a quote tattooed on my chest, and it's a quote by the famous educational reformist Horace Mann. I don't know if you're aware of his work, but he advocated a lot for public education. I don't know, I think like in the early 1800s or something like that. But I came across one of his quotes while doing some research for a brand I was running in college, and it reads, "Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity." When I first read that quote, it struck me so powerfully that within our lifetime, if you're able to see the scope of making even a small impact, the key word there was some victory. It wasn't a huge victory, it wasn't absolute victory, it was some victory. So if you're able to make even a small impact in whatever world, culture, sphere you've assimilated into your adult life, then I thought to myself, wouldn't you want to put in the effort and the energy into doing something, or honestly anything, into becoming a person that would one day be proud to leave this physical form, you know? It is as direct as it is simple, and I loved it for that. So I got it tattooed on my heart. But you know, enough with the deep talk. Let me talk about a tattoo that I got simply because my Korean name sounds like the moon. So yeah, when my parents immigrated to America, our last name Moon, they decided to romanize it as M-O-O-N. There are like little stories here and there that got me infatuated with the phases of the moon and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I just thought it looked dope as hell. And this was one of the first tattoos that I've always wanted ever since I turned 18. And I got it exactly where I wanted it, and it looked even better than I imagined, and I'm very happy with it. I said in my Q&A video that this is by far my most favorite tattoo that I have so far. And yeah, I was worried about getting it on my shin because I've heard like the pain level on bone, it just like spikes up. But I'll talk about all the pain levels and the pricing and the location and the artists and whatnot at the end of the video. I got this band on my forearm, which you may recognize as the symbols on the Korean flag from the Joseon Dynasty: air or heaven, fire, earth, and water, which represents the 4 trigrams that make up the basic principles of the universe in Eastern cosmology. These 4 symbols in Eastern cosmology represents change and creation. To me, and the meaning as to why I have it permanently tatted on my body, is that it reminds me of my Korean heritage. Growing up in America, it was very tricky. I'm sure a lot of you first generations are experiencing or have experienced and understand. Your identity gets mixed up a lot. You don't know how much to assimilate, how much to abandon your parents', heritage. But as I grew older, it just only made sense to embrace my Korean heritage as much as I can, because I was always surrounded by American culture. So yeah, it just reminds me of my Korean heritage. I love the way it turned out. This one was like by far the most difficult tattoo to get. And it took the longest actually. There was a whole process where it was tricky because the skin, our skin flexes and stretches and bends. What he had to do was he printed out the markers for the trigrams in like separate pieces, and had to like line them up individually, literally with a ruler, because if I flexed or if I didn't flex, if I had my arm up or down, like I had to decide which way I wanted it, because your skin is so flexible. So it's tricky. He actually made a mistake on this tattoo, which got me a 50% discount. He added like an extra line. There was supposed to be a broken line, but instead he tatted a straight line. But luckily it was just a simple line, and you'll see in the footage how it looks. I'm glad that he did offer the laser treatments, because it does look better objectively. Yeah, so those are the tattoos that I have so far. Definitely planning on getting more. Maybe when I get 10 tattoos, I'll do another one of these tattoo tours. But to those that are interested, who have not gotten a tattoo yet and are curious, I got all these tattoos in Seoul by the same guy. Shouts out to Bowie the Fish Lover. Appreciate you, man, and your artistic talents. I got it from the same guy, from this tattoo shop called Igloo Shop, I think is their Instagram handle. So for the pain level on both my ankle tattoos, they're in a pretty good location, and they were just simple lettering as well. So I'd probably put them at like a 2 out of 10, maybe a 1 out of 10. It was really nothing. It's hard to explain, but it's just like getting pinched for like an hour straight. and like after like 5 minutes you get numb to it anyways, and you're just like kind of chilling there waiting for the job to be done. When I got my band tattoo, I think that was the first time I experienced like actual pain. I'd probably put my armband tattoo at like a 4 or 5. When it got closer to my bone, like I could actually feel like I'm being stabbed over and over again. Most of the process was really painless. I'd say only like a 4 because of like how long it took. So like after a while, I think just even being in certain positions for an extended period of time, that itself was kind of painful. The overall experience was like a 4 out of 10 slash 5 out of 10. My band tattoo was originally supposed to be 400,000 won, which is, I think, I'm gonna put the conversion on the screen, so I'm not gonna even try. But it was 400,000 won, but because of like a minor fuck up on his part, he gave me 50% off, so I only paid 200K for my band tattoo, which is a hell of a deal. Like, I really like the way it turned out, because I actually had this tattoo idea like literally the day of. I already had an appointment to get a tattoo that day that I got this band, and I just didn't know what I was getting. And I think the morning of, I woke up with an idea, and I quickly photoshopped an image of the trigrams like stretched out so that it could like wrap around my forearm. And I didn't know what to expect, but when he finished it, like I was actually so stoked on it. It turned out so fucking good. My shin tattoo, the phases of the moon, that one costed 400K as well. There was a lot of details in the craters that he went into, and he was extra careful on this one because this happened after my band tattoo, and because of his fuck up, like I could tell that he was like trying super hard. Not that he didn't try before. I think it happens, you know, it happens, whatever. But I could tell that he was like super focused on this, and he got a lot of the details of the craters. And this one took, I think, like 4 hours. Maybe I should talk about that too, for how long it took. Both the lettering tattoos on my ankle took maybe like less than an hour. This band tattoo took about like 4 hours, 5 hours, no breaks. I was in the tattoo shop till like 1 a.m. I believe. And my shin tattoo, as I was saying, this one took about 4 hours and no fuck ups, so no discounts, 400K. I'd say the pain threshold for this one's probably the highest, because I've always been warned that the shin bone is probably the roughest, one of the roughest areas, except for like, you know, your rib and whatnot. But I put it still at like a 5, 6, because it really wasn't that bad. Like I have a very high pain threshold, and not only that, I tend to forget the pain very quickly. So no breaks, just did it all in one go. I think I have to take a bathroom break, but that's just because, yeah, you're sitting there for like 4 or 5 hours. But yeah, 400K, 4 hours, 6 out of 10. And lastly, my chest tattoo. This one costed, I believe, like 100K, maybe 150. I actually forgot, but somewhere around that level. I think like 140K actually. I think it just came to me. I think it was like 140K. And the pain, yeah, I don't know. This one actually felt it a lot more than my band tattoo. I don't know if my titties are just like extra sensitive or whatnot, but this one I'd probably give easily 5 out of 10. And this one took about maybe hour and a half or so. Like, yeah, definitely over an hour. Those are all my tattoos that I have so far. I'm sure I'll do updated tattoo tours in the near future. Planning on getting a Squirtle tattoo next. I'm trying to hit up this artist, but he's been ghosting me. But he's like super talented, super busy. So, you know, let's hope I can get this soon. Maybe I'll do a vlog on my next tattoo. Just like the whole experience, if the tattoo shop is comfortable with it. And if I do, you know, like and subscribe if you have not already, so that you can get that video notification when that video comes out. Follow me on Instagram so you can see all the tattoos in greater detail. You can study it, you know, closer. Let me know if you have any tattoos yourself. I'm actually pretty curious if any of my viewers are rocking any ink. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace. Sun is setting. I don't know if y'all seen Sweet Home, but definitely feel like this apartment could be on the set of that show.